The sky shattered like a broken mirror. First, there was silence. Not ordinary silence, but an absolute absence of sound, as if the universe itself had held its breath. Then the roar, a deep, almost divine sound that resonated within the bones, as if reality itself was cracking. The cities froze. The clock struck midnight, yet the sun still shone. Something was wrong. Something was ending. Atop a skyscraper, a man watched the horizon. He was not a prophet nor a scientist, just someone who saw the signs before others accepted the truth. The sea had turned black, its waters poisoned by something unseen. Birds fell from the sky, their wings lifeless. The shadows in the corners of the streets stretched longer, darker, and then the seals began to break. The first seal, the illusion of victory. The horizon split open, and from it emerged a rider in white, mounted on a horse that made no sound as it touched the ground. His armor shone like gold, and his crown reflected the flames of the world. He carried a bow, but no arrows. His weapon was not war, but conviction. The people welcomed him as a savior. He brought order to chaos. With soft words and a hypnotic gaze, he promised peace, stability, and security. Nations bowed before him, grateful. Enemies shook hands. But peace never came, because this peace was a deception. It was a prelude to the greatest war in history. The second seal, the hidden blade. And then the second seal was broken. The white rider vanished. In his place came the red rider, his horse dripping with blood. He needed no armies. He was war itself. What was once the promise of peace crumbled. Alliances shattered. Trust was replaced by paranoia. Neighbors became enemies overnight. The world was set ablaze. Bombs rained from the sky. Cities burned, and the cries of battle echoed across the continents. Nations collapsed from within. Leaders were betrayed. Families turned on each other. Peace was merely the pause before the slaughter. The third seal, endless famine. When war consumed everything, the third rider came. Pale, gaunt, wearing the rags of a fallen king. He held scales in his hands. Gold became worthless. The wealth of the powerful turned to dust. What once bought empires could no longer buy a piece of bread. The world bowed to a new currency, hunger. Markets closed. Storehouses were ransacked. Flourishing cities became wastelands of concrete and starvation. Bread became a luxury reserved for the strongest. The weak made unthinkable choices to survive. And then humanity began to devour itself. The fourth seal, the shadow of death. Silence came before him. The sky turned gray. The air grew dense and heavy. No more screams, no more explosions. Just a deep silence, as if the planet itself was mourning. The fourth rider arrived. He did not ride, he crawled. He was emptiness, darkness, the sum of all that came before. His touch was not cold, but absent. He did not kill with swords or poisons, but with despair. Humanity did not fall in a single moment, but in thousands of small deaths. There were bodies in the streets, but no one mourned them, because there was no one left to mourn. The fifth seal, the price of faith. The temples stood empty. The faithful hid, hunted, silenced. Their prayers became whispers, their symbols broken. Faith was declared a crime, but still a few waited. They had no weapons, no banners, only patience. They waited for the day when heaven would take its revenge. The sixth seal, the earth shook, and then the mountains moved. The sun went black. The moon turned red as blood. The stars fell one by one, like ashes from an eternal fire. Kings and beggars fled to caves and bunkers, hiding from the unseen gaze that now watched the world. But there was nowhere left to hide. The time of men was over. And then the sky tore apart. The seventh seal, the final silence. For a moment, the universe stood still. The last voices were swallowed by the wind. The oceans quieted. The dust of destruction settled on the earth. But this was not peace. This was the end. And then the final trumpet sounded, and something descended from the sky. The apocalypse, revelation or prophecy. The book of Revelation has always been a mystery. Is it a literal description of the end of the world, a metaphor for the cycles of humanity, or something that has already begun? Perhaps the apocalypse is not a distant event. Perhaps it is only a reflection of what has always been inside us.